What's up? Welcome to the Splitting Hairs podcast, presented by Cottonwood Coffee and True North Retirement Team. It is week 7, game 6, Hobo week. How you feeling, Stack?
I'm feeling good. Hobo week, defending national champions against, of course, no one but you and I. So it's going to be a fun game to watch.
Love it. Again, we just continue to schedule you and I for Hobo Day. To me, it doesn't really matter who you play. You got to perform. So I don't get like all up in arms, like why are we scheduling them? But I understand there's a lot of superstition with people, and it seems like this is one they get all up in arms about. You know, what's your take on that? Do you really care? Did you ever get superstitious?
I mean, I was never superstitious about it just because, like, when you're in the locker room, you know, you hear, oh, we schedule you and I for Hobo Day. Like, you're not like, what, are you scared of them? You know what I'm saying? Like, so
exactly.
As like a player on the team, I'm sure guys like take offense to that. Like, what? Like, you worried that we schedule you and I? Like, we just won a national championship. We just blew out NDSU in the national championship, actually. You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
I mean, but, you know, for my time there, we lost to you and I a couple of times on Hobo Day. I think my first one. So,
yeah.
But,
in 18, I mean, right?
Yeah, the past don't have nothing to do with, you know, this team is very different. The UNI team is also very different, but I mean, we'll get into that later, but I wouldn't superstition, let that go. These guys are too good for that.
Yep, and I'm even growing a little bit out this week for it. This is like 2 days of not shaving, though, because I got work and got to be presentable. So, you know, this is the best I could do in 2 days. Not bad, right? But, you know, before we deep dive into everything, recap Illinois State and attack Hobo Day matchup with Northern Iowa, want to shout out our sponsors. Naturally, Cottonwood Coffee continues to come up to the plate and support us, and we greatly appreciate that. So check out their 2 locations. The one on 6th Street is the Bistro. They got all the food you could want, fresh farm to table. They have their fall menu that rolls out. They have different quiche, like daily quiche. They also have different soups. And then they have, obviously, great coffee. Roasted in-house on the main location, where they have great ambiance for studies. They have a great back room if you want a more quiet vibe so you can tackle your studies, so you can get good work done. Overall, just a great setup out there on Main Street with all the energy of the week coming up. It'd be a nice little spot to try to recharge or focus or get some stuff done. So check them out. And then naturally, they've got the online subscription service. So you can go to their website, cottonwoodcoffee.com, set yourself up on subscription so you can get it direct to your door. And any orders of $20 or more is free shipping, which is always nice. It's a lot of coffee, but, you know, just take it from Jim here. Cottonwood is awesome. Coffee finally gets to watch us live. What's up, Jim? Thanks for the support. Then want to shout out our other title sponsor for the year, True North Retirement Team. They're an asset to us. Let them protect your assets as well, no matter what stage of life you're in, whether it's dabbling in a new insurance policy. They got life insurance programs that can really set you up for financial freedom and success down the road as you age. They also have great consults and insights into how to protect your assets long-term. If there's a death in the family, how to insulate yourself from those things that arise in life with all of us. So shout out to True North Retirement Team. If you would like a free consultation, their number will be in the show notes. You can reach out to them there at 480-323-5801. Or again, check the show notes. Appreciate their support. So now, Stack, we kind of took Illinois State to the woodshed, man. It was we got out of hand early, and I was loving every minute of it. What did you see?
Towards kind of the end of the third quarter, you kind of saw them kind of gather their bearings. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of the difference between like a good football team and like a national championship football team. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you saw like once they kind of got together, like they could play some ball, but like against South Dakota State, like you can't take a quarter off. Like, you can't take a half off. You can't take the first 5 minutes off. You know what I'm saying? Like, from how that game went. So, I mean, I still think I was wrong about their offensive line. I thought they played actually really well in the second half. You know what I mean? And credit to their coach and their quarterback. I thought they had some really good plays dialed up, and they knew what they had to do to, you know, put points on the board when that time came. But our guys dominated. I've got to speak to our offensive line again, just seeing how they really just like there was nothing they could do about it. You know what I'm saying? Like as a defensive line, like I almost empathize those guys. I'm like, bro, what do you do? Like if you're getting 3 yards, 4 or 5 yards of movement off the ball every single play, and when we're pulling guys, like they're blocking really well in space and taking you 15 yards down the field, like. And then if we want to throw the ball, you know what I'm saying? Like it's really, as a coach, it would be a nightmare to try and game plan against, a team like SDSU.
Yeah, no, great point. The 605 Hogs were cleaning up. It was like, have you ever seen the movie Snatch?
No.
Like the movie Snatch is a legendary movie. I can't believe you haven't seen it, number one. But there's this part where like he's trying to dispose of bodies. So a pig will eat everything. But those boys, like long story short, moral of the story is those hogs were eaten.
Yeah,
They ate everything in sight and just were moving bodies. They were demolishing bodies. That's my other point.
And our top 3 running backs too. I mean, our offensive line was kicking all kinds of ass. So of course our running backs are gonna have a good day. But like we'd be remiss if I didn't mention like Angel as well. Also, good to see him come on like in a game against a Missouri Valley opponent. And like, what do you say? You know what I mean? Like we're spoiled right now in terms of like talent, especially in the running back room. Like it's really crazy to see 3 guys go off that crazy.
Yeah, reminds me a lot of, I mean, and obviously it's a notch above these guys I'm going to mention, in my opinion, and that's not biased. That's just looking to see what the production has been like. But it reminds me of the SIU team a few years ago that you played in 21, where they had Ramir Elliott. They had
the 3-headed dragon,
the three, whatever they wanted to call them.
This is what that looks like. In my
this opinion. Is what it really looks like.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they were good. Like that's why I referenced them. But this is like a step above that and they're so different. I remember we were kind of on the verge of getting there, but we had so many other ways to beat you with that 21 team because we had Tucker, obviously we had Zach, we had both the Yankees, then we had Pierre, but then Isaiah got hurt, so we didn't even really have our 2-headed monster at that point, the Thunder and Lightning going. But now it's like Isaiah's Thunder and Lightning, and he can juke you in a phone booth, and then you got the smoothest, most low pad body bend dude I've ever seen in Amar. Like Amar really, like if you even catch the great pictures they've got of him, he plays with such great bend, and that's really difficult because you can't hit what you can't see, right? And when the 605 Hogs, like you're saying, are getting 3 to 4 to 5 yards push, and you can't see a guy because he plays with such great pad level and he's so quick and smooth with his movement, that's tough to beat. And then Angel is quick as hell. He's so fleet of foot. Like he takes probably 2 more steps per stride than Isaiah, right? Because they're not as powerful, but he's so lightning fast on his feet. So I love watching all 3 of them run with their different styles. Bro, 9.9 yards per carry for Isaiah, nearly 200 yards rushing, and Senior Bowl accolades left and right. I mean, they were paying so close attention to him. Somebody was there on site watching because I saw Nagy tweeted about it, and my gosh, does he have a lot of upside right now? So, I mean, and the biggest thing is I was watching this. It's so funny. I didn't know if, as a former player, you like analyze other players and like what makes them good and some of their unique metrics or skill sets or what have you. His hands are so damn big. Like that's huge. And then Nagy mentioned it at like an unusually large 10.5-inch width of hands. That's it really helps a lot because they want to know as a running back, can you develop some ball security? And obviously he can do that. But it was wild, man, because then
he's legit.
Like you said, not only were we eating on the ground, I mean, Mark was tearing them up through the air. He had, I think, a $171 through the air. Pretty balanced attack on the day, and we didn't even really go to the air that much more because why would you when you're rushing for 10 yards a clip?
Yeah,
crazy.
It's I mean, as a ISU fan, I know it had to be hard to watch. You know what I mean? So and on the defensive side, I thought, I gotta mention this: Ryan Van Marl and Jared DePriest in the pass rush, like seeing against like guys are just gonna zone block you. I thought they took like a really big step on the year that's gonna, I think, pay dividends this week. Like I think I saw a lot of plays where like Ryan Van Marl had this like push pull and came completely clean. Like they're just letting the ball go too soon, you know, like whereas before it was like on the fence, like, well, are our guys getting home or is it like a problem? Like our guys can pass rush. From this week, our guys in the middle can pass rush. Like Jared DePriest, I think they blew a play dead, but like he was about to kill him. You know what I mean? And even on that play that I think they threw a flag on it where he should have got a sack. I mean, our guys in the middle were playing some ball, especially in the pass. And it was good to see, you know, because you had like a lot of questions, I guess, like with like the low production numbers, just because, you know, it's a lot of scheme stuff. And I thought Cade Trevere played a really good game too, especially ended him the way he did. So.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that is a really good point because they were coming into the game, Illinois State. I think we beat a good football team. I don't know that we beat like they're not any you know, anointed team like they were in 2014 when they made it all the way to the show, but I definitely think that their 58 yards per game that they were averaging on defense in terms of allowing other teams to rush for only 58 yards a clip got exposed quite seriously. And then on the other side of the ball, like you said, throughout the course of the early season so far, we've seen teams out scheme us to nullify the defensive line. We keep saying that over and over, but that doesn't matter when you're South Dakota State defensive coordinator or D-line coach. You have to find ways to get involved and be disruptors, right? So like you said, I think DePriest and Van Marl definitely should get a shout out for upping their ante. Cade's continued to make strides. Obviously, you know, we talked a lot about rush lanes against Montana State and mobile quarterbacks. I think there's stuff to learn from that, but they were getting to the point against UND. And then this quarterback, not really as mobile, like that's not his knack.
Yeah.
He's a bit more of a polished, upright quarterback from the pocket. But they were getting the ball out on the perimeter real quick. That does nullify defensive players. And we were just not getting off blocks quick enough and rally tackling. And I don't know, what else did you see? What were some of your insights as far as defensive secondary and linebacker plays concerned?
I thought once Deshaun kind of went out, I thought some plays at corner I thought he would have made that weren't made. And I just think, you know, it's a part of the game, but also like if you're going to be a guy like next year, you know, like you got to make those plays, you know what I mean? Like you got to show your coach like, oh, well, maybe this guy should get more reps because he's making the same plays that Deshaun is making, you know what I mean? And like just as, you know, kind of feed off of like what he's doing while he's still in the room, right? Like if you see a play, and I mean, as a player, like I'd ask, like when I was younger, I'd always ask like Kellen Solik or something like that, like, well, what would you have done here? You know what I'm saying? Just so like when coach puts you in, he's not feeling like, oh, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I think, and granted, Deshaun's a great player. And not everyone's Deshaun. So, like, I'm not saying, like, oh, we should all be as good as him. But I'm just saying, like, kind of lean on your older guys in the room. And from the secondary, I thought Cale Reeder had a really good game also. Just putting the pain on people. Linebacker. I'm trying to think who really stood out to me.
To me, I think Savion cleaned a lot of stuff up. I think he did a good job. I think there is I mean, it's not really fair to Savion, but I think everybody tries to play at an All-American. If you ask every single football player on a team, hey, are you trying to play at an All-American caliber level? Yeah, I mean, they're all trying. I just don't think that he's quite the caliber of Bach, but I thought Bach was playing, so I don't know. I guess he's like week to week with a lower leg injury. It's kind of interesting to see how they might strategize that. I mean, maybe shut him down until he's healthy, or what do you think they should do?
I mean, you don't want to push it too far either, right? Because he also, I'm sure he's like, all right, well, I got aspirations to play at the next level possibly, so you don't want to hurt your chances anymore. So, I mean, and I know Bach. I know if he can play, he'll play. That's the kind of guy he is.
So, got to protect him from himself sometimes, right? So, like, got to look at your future if you are that caliber, which he is, and he's going to get a look. Now he's got to remain healthy long enough to be available to play, because your greatest ability is your availability. So hopefully the training staff is going to be real smart and honestly protective of his future.
Knowing Chuck and those guys, they're really on top of it. And
Yeah.
Man, shout out Chuck. We got the best athletic trainer in the country by far. Like,
Nice.
yeah, no, he's the man. So I know Chuck's getting him in the rehab room, taking care of him. And I also, before, because you mentioned Savion, I want to shout him out for that punch out he had.
I know.
Because that was him, wasn't it? On the, I think it was the first or second quarter.
Special teams or
no, it wasn't special teams.
No, I thought we only had one turnover that we got, or did we get multiple?
Well, the one fumble that we had was Savion, I'm pretty sure.
Really? I thought we got the special teams one. Did we have another one? Let me check. We drive chart individual. Let's see, box score. Yeah, in terms of special teams play, though, it's kind of hilarious because I called Jackson Yonke for player of the game. If Isaiah wasn't so greedy with his yards per carry and his overall yardage, maybe he would have got it. But Jackson went off too. Jaden had 2 tutties. Really remarkable performance, just top to bottom offensively. Mark playing savvy. Mark had 3 through the air and 1 on the ground. Jeez, could have gone to anybody that day. INT, fumbles lost. Yeah, we lost 1 on that 4th down attempt to convert. Oh, they lost 2. So you're right. Savion must have punched 1 out. We'll go with him.
Yeah, we'll go with him. Stretched out and punched it out like with the tip of his finger. So it was a cool play.
Love it. That's great. I think, I think he's really done a great job cleaning stuff up. He's got a lot of reps under his belt at this point. Played a lot of meaningful football. A lot of the younger guys are willing and able to do their part too, I'm sure, and they'll look to get more play as we secure some games. Yeah. Offensively, they started to get some things going, so we had to kind of keep our ones in there. But I also think Jason Freeman continues to play super consistent.
Yeah, Jason, and I think oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
No, good.
I think him and Daishawn are both I think they're cousins, but both in the same kind of realm. Like when they play and the energy they play with is just so fun to watch. Like I'll be sitting on my couch jumping up, yelling at the screen when him or Daishawn makes a tackle because they're just so their juice is so infectious, and it's already knowing it really just juices up the team. That Jason's a fun dude to watch play.
Yeah, man, and it's kind of a funny little common saying that one of our old coaches used to say, Coach Bailey. He'd say, "Energy, enthusiasm. If you don't have any, fake it." And that can be really insightful in some ways, right? Because people will feed off of what you bring to the table. And it was kind of like what you were mentioning before with guys, consulting upperclassmen. What should I do here? I think that's really important and valuable. But at the end of the day, it's like you and I have said before, just go out and play football and play it fast and violent, right? Know your job, communicate, and then play fast and violent. That's it. Keep it simple. Keep your world small and go out and make plays. That's really what you got to do at the end of the day. But I really, really am excited to see this matchup that we got coming into this week because their offensive line is quite different. Their offensive line coach at UNI. If we want to wrap up Illinois State, anything else? I mean, it was an absolute drubbing.
So yeah, it's not much to say, guys.
Didn't mean to interrupt you. We should talk special teams.
Oh yeah,
our kicking game. I about stroked out. Hunter Dustman's a great kicker, right? And I didn't watch close enough. Also, that broadcast was horrendous.
Terrible.
It sounded like they were talking through a straw the whole time, or I was listening to a conch shell. Yeah. I wanted to signal to the boys with that shell, get these guys off.
Yeah.
It was bad, but in small markets aren't even an excuse because Brookings is probably one of the smaller markets in the entire Missouri Valley. And we have an unbelievable production, whether it's Tyler Merriam and Scotty Quaz and whoever else is assisting him these days. And then you have obviously Midco's phenomenal production with Tom Neiman. And yeah, it's just night and day what that was. That was atrocious. I just had to, man. It was bad. So that's my rant there. But special teams, I didn't get to see really the tight footage of it to see if they shot laces or if he didn't have laces on some of his PATs. But he missed several there, right? And That's unacceptable, especially from a national championship expectation team, because that could be all the difference in a game, in a close game, right?
Yeah.
But what's worse there, like, I think we could get back those points. I'm not terribly concerned with that. What got me and ate at me is the kickoff out of bounds. Like, why are we kicking the ball out of bounds? We're supposed to have like a special team coach this year and stuff like maybe it's just a function of young kids messing up, being, just being a little bit careless or a little loose. But I don't know. So I know they'll get it corrected too. I'm not trying to come off too critical. I just, like, there's this great, I know you probably don't know who Larry David is. You've never seen Snatch.
No.
So Larry David created Seinfeld, but there's this great viral interview he did. I can't remember what late night host it was. Maybe Jimmy Kimmel or somebody. But he's asking him about football, and he loves football, right? He's like, we need to eliminate the kickers. Why do you have kickers? Everybody stops, and then you come to watch this kicker absolutely choke or kick it through these two metal beams. It's like what? But anyways, like I love kickers. Like Kyle Harris is one of my good buddies, and I love kickers. But man, they give me panic attacks, nightmares. You name it, they give it to me, and it's not good. So hopefully they get it cleaned up this week, though, because we have some of the best in the country.
So Hunter Dustman's the guy that gamed these dudes last year. So.
I mean, we don't have a title without Hunter.
Yeah,
so
no,
I'm
sure.
I'm definitely not sitting up here saying we don't need him. We need to fire him. Hell no. Hunter Dustman.
Yeah, no, he's legit.
One of
for
the
sure.
biggest reasons we made it to the ship and won it. I mean, what he did in the Fargo Dome, that's the hardest place to kick. And ask every kicker. Kyle Harris, Pete Riffenrath, both those are the kickers for me. And then Justin Saravaca, all really great kickers. They all like that. If you can kick there, you can kick anywhere, and he can. So it'll be interesting to see him bounce back and have his redemption game this week against UNI, because for some reason, like, UNI is a team that plays to the caliber of its competition.
Yeah, UNI, one thing they always are, and I think it's a little bit different this year, at least for their O-line, but for us, like, they're always legit in the trenches. Like, NFL guys, the best you're probably going to see, at least in like gap scheme, downhill running, kind of dudes that want to rip your face off. But this year, I think they're kind of like you said it like a few weeks ago, actually, that UNI kind of plays to what they really have. And like right now, it looks like they want to air it out a little bit more, because I mean, Theo Day, one of the best quarterbacks in FCS, one of the better quarterbacks in college football, honestly. So I think he's pretty legit. So they're going to want to sit back there and protect him. But they do a lot of full slide. Like they're really getting problems from Indiana State's D-line last week. And I don't know if that's because, credit to their D-line for one, because like in the last few years, I think they put out like a couple dudes in the league, I think. So it's not to say that there's some slouches, but I don't think they're as a whole as good as SSU's D-line. So
that's a really good point. I think they're better individually, Indiana State, than they are collectively right now. I mean, that's kind of the progression of programs, right? Like, first you may have a guy that's good that teams recognize, like, for instance, Rodney Harrison, Western Illinois. I can't tell you really anybody else has played there. I mean, there's some good ones in the record books, Herb Donaldson, but there's been like two that I can think of. That's it.
Yeah.
That's not to
Colin
say that
Saunders, he's a D tackle for the Chiefs right now. He was legit, but they
but that's what I'm saying. So so as it progresses, then you have a couple good guys on one team, and then you start to have whole units like the Jacks have, and then maybe you got whole units, but guys that can like play, right? That'll have long NFL careers, like Dallas Goedert. Zach Zenner had a good career. You got P, who's going to have a good career. And then you have, obviously, Witzman. Yeah, you got guys who are just riddling the league now. And it's one of those things where you're seeing Indiana State struggle, I think, because they can't put it all together. But again, going back to Northern Iowa playing to the level of their competition, 27-20 at Terre Haute, like, come on, man.
Yeah,
you're this perennial team that is one of the blue bloods, so to speak, and like you're struggling with Indiana State. You beat Weber, but you beat Weber 34-14, I believe, and Weber then gets drubbed like beaten like it stole something by Montana State 40-0. And they could have had more, really. They just kind of yipped it in special teams also in that game, Montana State. So, I mean, looking at this, though, you brought up Theo Day. You're definitely right. He's a polished quarterback. He's probably not played up to standard this year. I think that has a lot to do with what you mentioned. In the trenches, they're historically pretty good. They're not quite what they have been advertised to be, and they're not quite what they've been in the past this year, I think. They did lose again their offensive line coach Clady to Iowa State. And then you mentioned they got a lot of guys in the pros, right? Spencer Brown, people like that. They had that other really nasty dude.
Spencer Brown, and it was God, what was that dude?
This past year, or 2 years ago, maybe, he was getting all that.
Yeah, he was in my class. It was
Penny.
Trevor Penny.
Yeah, so they can put out some dudes, some nasty players, right? Some very physical, like knock you in the dirt, let you know it type offensive lineman, which you love to see, right? Because we got a couple of those on our team right now, and you just see the dividends that pays. But speaking of pros, Ryan Mahaffey leaves. He goes to Green Bay. This was maybe a couple years ago. That's their offensive coordinator. Literally left like right before the first game, I think. And so that has an impact because they're able to recruit and develop some good talent historically. And obviously, Coach Farley's been there forever. And he has really good rapport with being able to build and develop coaches as well as players. So I think you're starting to see that kind of cannibalize the team a little bit. What do you think?
I think, it's kind of hard to say because, like, honestly, when their offensive line coach leaving kind of hurts them a lot, as you could tell, because, like, as a team, you can say like, oh, well, we had this guy. But like as a coach, you can say like, yeah, I made that guy that good, not made him that good, but like I developed him to the point where he could be that kind of player. And like, it's almost weird watching them play and not seeing like power, counter, you know what I mean? Like where it's just like movement off the ball. Like I believe the 21 season, well, the COVID season against you and I was probably like the hardest game I ever played in my life because like, it really felt like bro, I'm out here fighting for my life. Like, you know what I mean? And, seeing their offensive line play kind of look the way it does is jarring, but again, it's you and I. So you already know they're going to try and turn to Superman once they get in there. And like a huge thing for the Jacks is just starting fast.
I agree.
Like, and I
ball
think
security starting fast and then mitigating these BS penalties we had last week.
I
think that's unacceptable. So
for sure. And I think one thing, like the times we have gotten after you and I where it wasn't a close game, one thing that comes to mind is the regular season in 2019 is when we started fast. Like those guys, they quit. Like you could see it in them. Like they quit. Like they're like, oh man, like if the Jacks come out and play like they did this last game and get on these dudes like 2 scores right away, 2 stops, they will quit.
Yeah. And that's a really good point. I don't know why that is. Maybe the caliber athlete they get again, maybe they're better individually than they are collectively. I think at this point, and I think historically, maybe they've been better collectively, especially on the offensive line units and defensive line. They had Brinkman too. I mean, they put out some dogs on the D line, right? And then they had that number 90 who was really tall and lanky and good. I forget his name.
I think, I forgot the dude's name, but like, what, in 2016, like they had a guy that led all of FCS in sacks.
Yeah, number 47. And then they had, they had Farley's son at linebacker, one of his sons, and then they also had, was it Cullen McShane? Or no, Spencer Cuvalier. Cullen McShane. Why is that name? Maybe
he's on SDSU.
Cullen McShane. Sorry.
Yeah, 46, I think.
Yeah, duh. I don't know what's going on. No, Spencer Cuvalier. It's all these fancy names, man.
Yeah.
Cuvalier. It'd have been cooler if his name was Cavalier, but it's not. So
he sounds rich.
Yeah. He sounds French. So no, but he's not on the squad this year. Obviously, he cleaned up a lot of stuff that the D line wasn't able to handle, or got up to second level, or he was playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage. So Cuvalier not being there, obviously that'll be good. And I think you brought up a good point is it's interesting to watch them play right now because I think they're playing to what their talent would suggest they should do, right? You got a different quarterback now as opposed to who you had historically, kind of more of those mobile, a little bit more dual threat type QBs.
Yeah,
or you had running backs like David Johnson, where you're going to just lean on them, or Tyler Hoosman, who really gave us fits in that 19 playoff game and then gave us fits, one of the years that we choked. I think, what was that, 21 Hobo Day?
Yes.
That was probably one of the most frustrating games I've ever watched.
Yeah, for sure. I was frustrated out there.
We were just never in it. Like not one bit. They controlled the entire ebb and flow of the game. And that's one thing that I think is also pivotal. Keep the ball out of Theo Day's hands. I don't think he's quite playing to the caliber that he did last year. Not yet anyway. There's a lot of season left. But keep the ball out of his hands, ball control, do what we do, run it from different formations, different looks, different sets, shift trade motion, keep them guessing, nullify the cross blitz that they love to do so much. And I think we're good to go.
And it'll be a good test for our offensive line. I think their defensive line, granted, they didn't look great against Indiana State, but Indiana State was kind of trying to get to the outside a lot. And I don't know how they play with that, but I would expect for them to bring out something funky, something they haven't done quite yet before, because they're kind of infamous for that. I still remember Wes probably gets tired of me telling about this, but I think it was 2017 when we played them, and Wes is like, well, they're going to come out in this front. And like, because we would always just talk about like, what the other team's doing and what we're seeing on film from their offense or defense. And Wes was like, yeah. He was telling me, well, yeah, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and we have this for that and this for that. And and their first play on defense, like, it was just something crazy. And I look at Wes when he came off the sideline after he came off the field, and he's like, yeah, I don't know. So
sometimes, sometimes you tip the cap, right? It's that same UND garbage where they'll just guess right. Essentially, it's just guessing because the caliber of talent there's such a disparity, But yeah, in this case, I don't think there's a huge talent disparity. I think they just get creative. Tip your cap to them when that happens, and hope it's not fatal. I think that's the big thing for us. Fortunately, we had one fumble. I think it was more a function of execution, but maybe trying to get a little too nifty. I think Mike Morgan can easily do that in terms of taking the snap on short yardage after coming in motion. But here's my thing. You got a guy on the bench in Chase Mason, who is bigger than all of our running backs, except maybe Isaiah. He might be a little lighter than Isaiah, but he looks like a creative player from PS whatever they got now, PS5. I'm not a gamer really, but so he looks like a creative player. He is a quarterback. He takes snaps from under center and shotgun. Why not put two quarterbacks on the field at the same time? Make the defense have to guard and defend multiple options, and then have him motion in the back and do that. Like, or just do the tush push or the brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it, the scrum, because that's legal. So do that, and then you have Isaiah in the backfield pushing. Come on, man. Come on. That's a lot of weight. So yeah, that's just my take on that. So we can, if we get into future situations, against you and I say we do that.
Yeah.
Just not try to outthink it. Last year, it worked with Tucker a lot, but Tucker isn't, he's in the NFL. So that's a different kind of guy right there. Right. And he's a giant, and he was like that. So I think we got to win the turnover battle. On defense, we got to be ripping at the ball. I think it's going to be an opportunity for a coming out party for our D line in terms of pass rush.
Yeah.
And Theo Day is not necessarily he's agile, but he's not necessarily a fleet of foot, Yeah,
he's not their last.
He's not going to beat
you. He's not going to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. Would you say he's not who?
Will McElvain, their last quarterback, who was like a nightmare to try and bring down.
Yeah.
Oh, Jim, also, I like that addition, Jim. Thank you for that.
Jim.
That's been good to see recently. Like, and that's kind of, it looks like something we kind of took out of UNI's playbook when they used to do that XL O lineman. So
yeah, hey, let them know. You want to read it for the fans?
Yeah, so we got number 83 Quentin Christensen that said it could hold up the line, the backfield, and also push. So it's pretty much, so you get like, you have your O line, and then you have it's called XL O line, but they're technically a tight end. They're
13 personnel.
Just a massive guy that's ready to just knock somebody's head off. So it's good to see that SDSU is doing that, using more kind of different sets, and it also looks like, showing like a better version of like what we've seen from other teams in the past. So
exactly.
I think that's super fun to watch. I think we did an XL package just like one time. Or no, that was North Dakota State last year. My bad. But like, that's something that North Dakota State does a lot. UNI did it quite a bit while I was there. I don't think they do much of it now because I believe the guy graduated, because you kind of need like a different kind of guy to do that.
Yep.
But I'm excited to see us use that more, because like, hey, we're about to run the ball. What are you going to do about it?
That's what I'm saying, man. There's so many different awesome creative ways to use the talent we have right now, along with, I'm talking skill talent, along with the body movers that we've got. Like,
shout out Coach Lujan on that one.
Dude, for real. And even shout out Coach Lujan for having the stones to do a double pass last week. I mean, Jackson threw a pass to Mark, and I'm sitting here like, we are doing whatever we want to this team. We're going to pull out a double pass. Like, come on, man. Like, just keep running the rock. But I like it, even though it gives me heart palpitations. I think it makes the game more creative. And again, this is a game. It should be fun. And it's more fun when you execute at a high level and you win. So if you can have a little fun and do a little razzle dazzle at the same time, why not? Right. Yeah. So I mean, I love it. I think, again, I'd like to see Chase get a little bit of run though. Like throw him out there on the field at the same time. That's a fit for a defense to have to scheme against. And then I watch an absurd amount of football, like to the point where like I'm watching it like I'm watching film. It's just habitual at this point. The things they do with Puka Nacua, if you know who that is, with the LA Rams. With the LA Rams, because I was watching Goddard play Roseboom this week. Goddard went off, by the way. It was crazy. But watching Puka Nacua and things they do with him in motion, having him run like he's running zone on a linebacker, and then he just takes off in different ways, and how they use him as little smoke screens, but they give you different looks to have to identify, because then they can set up a look down the line. It's a game of chess, right? Yeah. I think we have weapons like that. We were doing that with Graham earlier in the year. Graham Goring, he got injured, or he was out. So it's going to be interesting to see, when he gets back in the lineup, how they kind of use him. And then you also have, opportunities like running heavy personnel, 13 personnel with Christensen. You throw him in the backfield, motion him into H-back, put Mark and Chase on the field at the same time. Like, good night. And Isaiah, like, what are they going to do? Anamar? Like, good Lord. You could run like you could call it 22 personnel, because you got two backs, and then you could essentially call it two tight ends, two, if you motion them into H-back. But right now I'm just nerding out, so I hope I don't lose everybody. But the options are there, and the riches are plenty. So I'm excited to see what happens. Jim asks, how much of the playbook is being held back for that special moment against used or NDSU? I don't know, man. I think that's a good question. I think that we're definitely willing to run what we want to run when we want to run it. But if I had to guess, I think there's definitely something in the back pocket. What do you think, Stack?
Oh, for sure. And I think, the way the team's been playing to this point, it's like, well, why would I show my hand if I could just run power or run inside zone and Isaiah Davis has 200 yards on the ground? Like, why would I do that? And on the defensive side, like, like, why would I show all my exotic blitzes if, like, I could just throw one of our regular blitzes that we run all the time and still get home with that? So it'll be fun to see, like, when our guys, like, are just throwing whatever they want out there. You know what I mean? So especially come playoff time, too. That'll be a fun game to watch.
Can't wait. I can't wait when they just they push all the chips to the middle of the table. But a little bit back on topic here with Northern Iowa. I want to go over their total offense. They're producing about 400 yards per game. total, 392.2 to be exact. They are giving up 349 per game. So there's definite, wiggle room right there. You also have, they're giving up 17 touchdowns on the season so far. I mean, that's kind of a lot, I think. So I think that expect that number to climb. They threw, I think they have 5 picks on the year that they've thrown. Sorry, 6 picks on the year that they've thrown, and then they've only gotten 5, so they're already in the negative in that regard. I don't know what their overall turnover margin is. They've lost 3 of their 4 fumbles. So what is that? 9 total, and then their opponents have lost 1 fumble, and they've only fumbled once. So yeah, it looks like they're negative in their turnover margin, which is good for us, right? Want to be swiping at the ball, punching it out, obviously going up, high pointing it on defense, trying to get the turnover secured. Field goals, they're 7 of 8 on the year. In terms of punt average, about 41.5 a game. That's pretty good. Net punt average is about 33, though, so I like to see that. They're not necessarily flipping the field. Why does it say these stats may be a little bit incorrect? Did I say they're 7 of 8 on field goal? So yeah, that's good to know. 7 of 8 on field goal, because remember, the last Hobo Day game in 21 when we played them, it was their field goal kicker who blasted some that really kind of started to create that separation in the game. I don't know if he's still on their team. Is he? I can't remember his name.
I'm not sure.
Kickers give me freaking heart attack, like I was saying. But he was a beast. I remember he won Missouri Valley Special Teams Player of the Week that week, but I can't remember his name. How dare I? I'm a fraud. I tell you. But
I'd rather forget his name.
Exactly. So they're averaging 27 a game. Like I said before, they can put up points. They tend to try to put them up through the air. They have 69 passing first downs to 33 rushing. They have 13 penalties on first down. That's a weird stat. Yeah. They have, yeah. Anyways, at any rate, they're gaining 669 yards rushing, so about 107.6 per game. Our knack and our strong suit is stopping the run, right, and making teams one-dimensional. So we'll see what happens there. We have been slightly exposed at times, I think, in the secondary, but like you said, when Dyshawn comes off the field, and it's mainly at the cornerback position when they get the ball out on the edge quick, and then we've got to make a play in space. So hopefully we rally tackle a little bit better this week. I think they're probably going to try to get on the edge just like Illinois State did, see what they can't get on the ground there. Yeah, I think overall just looks to be a favorable matchup. This isn't a game where I'm like antsy and like worried. I don't know. Yeah. I think the team from last year winning the close game in Cedar Falls and then obviously winning the ship outright and coming back from, 21 points down or whatever it was, 14 points down against North Dakota State in Fargo. I think that just like it gets the monkey off the back, but also like the past is not an indicator of what this team is right now. Even the success from last year, it's mainly just like, all right, this team knows what it's capable of because they've already put that product on the field. And then it's playing to that potential and only worrying about us, right? Being selfish and greedy in that respect.
For sure. And I think, the leadership that this team has is like second to none, I think, throughout South Dakota State, like as a collective whole. So if I know these guys like I think I do, they don't care about what happened 2 years ago or however many Hobo days we lost to UNI. I think these guys are ready to kick their ass because that's the team that they have to play this week. So it'll be fun to watch.
There's a great stat put out. I think Zach Borg of Dakota News Now put it out. Like the last 3 Hobo Day contests against UNI, they've won. But we have to go all the way back to 2009 when I was still playing ball. Which let's not act like that's that long ago. But it is long ago. Yeah. And That's the last time we beat them on Hobo Day. So, I mean, it's kind of a cool stat to kind of slap on the bulletin board and be like, look, Hobo Day or not, let's beat the hell out of this team, okay? Like, can we quit the bullshitting? Like, we're better than a team, beat them. That's it. So, but yeah, man, I'm excited. We should get into our playmakers of the game and our predictions and stuff like that. So, as far as playmakers go, this is going to be interesting. Who do you got?
You know, we score every time we're in the red zone. I'm feeling like we're gonna get there a lot. I'm liking Zach Hines, just big catch maker. You know what I'm saying? I'm liking my guy Hines for player of the game on offense.
I like that. You know, I'll never forget that spring season how clutch he was in that game against you and I. Man, that was such a fun game to watch. That was like an instant classic, if you could call one. That was such a fun game in such a unique situation, right? Really fun to watch. Zach Hines is a good one. I'm at home, Hobo Day. Man, I'm trying to think of who had a big game in the past. You kind of stole mine, but no, I like it. I'm going to go with Mark. I think Mark is going to rise up and do what he has to do through the air and on the ground. Mark only played you and I. He's only played them at their house so far. He never played them in Brookings. So this is cool. This is kind of unique. You know, this is Mark's third year, but he's only played them there. So I'm excited to see what he can do at home under a Hobo Day crowd. Who did we play last year for Hobo Day?
I don't remember because I wasn't able to make any.
Oh, was it South Dakota? I think it was South Dakota, right?
Was it? I mean,
because we wore the yellows, right? Yeah. We wore the yellows. I think it was South Dakota. Hopefully, wear the yellows and the blues, man. That would be sick. I would like it. That would be sick. But yeah, man. What's your take? I mean, I know I'm getting a little sidetracked here. What's your take on? Oh, we played Indiana State. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, but we didn't wear the yellows for that game, did we?
I'm trying to think. I don't remember if I watched that one. I was on the road traveling for coaching and stuff last year. So
that's right. I like to muse and act like we can't look this up on our own.
Yeah.
Let's take a gander here and see. We played. Oh shoot, this is 23. Let's go to 22. I bet Chris is right. I just want to know the uniform combination and why we broke tradition. It was Hobo Day. Chris, you win the guy of the day. You're the guy of the day.
Guy of the day.
We should have worn yellow. How dare we break from tradition there? Blue jersey, white pants. Ooh, is this what we're doing? Blue jersey, white pants. I got to think that we're going with the white helmet then too.
Must. The white helmet's a must.
That's right. White helmet's a must. I love it. It's the cleanest look. You know what's great? It's like my girlfriend's like, man, those are the best looking helmets in the game. And she went to TCU, so she knows good helmets. So it's awesome to see that white rabbit with the blue metallic out there.
They're definitely fresh. I was so jealous when they got those because we were asking them for years. And I'm like, they got a new black one, they got a new white one. Like, I'm so jealous. But I'd rather see them with it though, especially if they win it. So
Deb clarified. Yeah, that's what they wore last year in Hobo Day. That's true. Maybe that's a new tradition. Our white lids are thick nonetheless. And I even like that it says Jackrabbits fully. Yeah. I know we'll probably cycle it out on the uniforms here and there, but yeah, I think it'll be fun to see what they do. This is the excitement. We get to talk about it and guess, and they get to leave us guessing and in the waiting.
Yeah.
But either way, it'll be cool. Do we even have blue helmets anymore? Just off the rip?
I mean, hey man.
Maybe.
Hey, if you win the white ones, I don't care.
We're who knows? Spoken like a true D lineman. I love that. Hey, as long as we win, we can wear leather helmets.
Wear whatever you want.
I know the moms might not love the leather helmet idea, but they're pretty tough. The kids are pretty tough. So as far as I'm going with Mark for my offensive playmaker of the game. What about on the defensive side of the ball? Who you got?
You know me, I'm biased, right? So like I'll say for secondary, I'll go Jason Freeman. I really like how he's been playing. He's been really fun to watch. But I got a feeling because my guy Jared's been like right there, like for the last couple weeks.
Come on, be biased. Go get the chain game.
Yeah, Jared's been right there. He's about to kick the door down, man. I hope they try and zone block these guys because it's not going to happen. So
I like it. So you're going Jared, right? Did I bully you into it? Good. Jared DePriest, that's your pick. I'm going to go Stallbird because he plays really physical in general, but he like ups it a little bit against UNI. I'll never forget his coming out party was against UNI as well, where he had recovered the blocked punt, or he might have blocked the punt and recovered it. I can't remember. He did. Yeah, he blocked the punt and recovered it. And then, he was a beast all over the field that game. I think, did he move down from safety to linebacker that game? Either way, he was playing nickel hybrids that whole year. He's played nickel hybrids like this year too. He's a good player. He's fun to watch, and he's so athletic. And you kind of forget that, he's a big dog. Like, he obviously had an opportunity, walked on, played at Nebraska, decided to come back to the good guys in blue, and just continued to make a name for himself ever since. He'll get a shot, I think, as well. For sure. So want to make sure we highlight him and give him some love. That's my playmaker on the defensive side of the ball. Special teams, I'll take this one quick. I'm going with Dustman.
You stole him.
You ride with your guys, win or lose, and you pick them up when they're down. And I know he's gonna be a clutch aspect this week and throughout the rest of the season. So I know he's gonna be good.
I'll just second your statement. I'm going with Dustman too. I say he gave these guys last year. See him do it again. Hopefully it's not that close this time, but
that's right. That's right. And let's just end it on the first one this time too. Like, we'll go ahead and end on the first one.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It won't be that cool. Yeah. Good night. See ya. So yeah, I think we got to get score predictions now. But before that, asset of the game. I want to talk about asset of the game. This is a new little helmet sticker type thing we're doing in honor of a segment sponsored by True North Retirement Team. So True North Retirement Team sponsoring the asset of the game. Last week, it was the 605 Hogs, right? Because when you need them most, they stepped up and were our greatest assets. So that's what I'm going with. This week, who do you got for the asset of the week?
For you and I?
Yeah, in this game, upcoming.
I'm biased.
No, they don't have any assets. We're not giving them assets.
Like I said, I'm biased. Chain gang. Got to. They're gonna.
I like it. You're going with the okay. Oh, yeah. I like it. There you go. Yeah, and they're due, right? They're due as a unit to come out. So coming out party this week, Hobo Day. No better time to do it. Another sellout. Yeah, man. Like, doing awesome this year. Dude, what? I mean, winning cures all, right? And heals all wounds, they say. But I think the fans, like, it's a different feeling too when you're around them and you see them, just even in the, like, up at Target Field too. Like, there's so much excitement and energy. It's a different energy. It's a different college experience for them, having such a dominant program. And I can't wait for us to step it up this Hobo Day too.
Yeah.
Cool. So score predictions.
42-10.
Ooh, I like that one. I'm going to say Isaiah will have at least 2 touchdowns. Mark will have at least 2. I don't know how it'll come, like through the air or on the ground. That puts us at 28. Dustin will probably get a field goal or 2. I'm going to go 37-17. Good guys.
I like it.
Yeah. So that's me. That's my take. Your take is solid. I hope we get over in the 40s. I'm just like, I don't know if their defense is going to travel, or, if they get us off guard, or the ebb and flow of the game. I'd like to be completely wrong and we post 60 on them, but got to be a little realistic, I think.
Yeah, I just wasn't super impressed with how their D-line played and with how our offensive line played last week. And we're going to get close to whatever we want on the ground, I think, because I didn't see any Brinkman out there in terms of, like, guys not moving at all. Like,
thank God, man, because between Brinkman and Caleb Sanders, I haven't seen game records like those guys in a while, right?
Yeah.
So any final thoughts before we head out?
Time to get that monkey off her back. They're about to do it to him this week, so I'm excited to watch.
That's right. I'm not superstitious these days, but if anybody is, make sure you hold tight to those superstitions.
So
Maybe
yeah,
say a little prayer.
keep that away from the game.
Don't be shaving. If you're a dude, ladies, you can shave. Actually, go ahead and shave if you're a lady. Dudes, keep the scruff, in honor of Hobo Week. I don't know what the theme is for this year. It's probably something interesting, but definitely go get some Hobo Day gear at Jackrabbits Central or wherever you're trying to pick up some blue and yellow stuff or white stuff, whatever we're rocking with this week. But yeah, make sure you continue to support them. Want to shout out our sponsors again. Thank you so much to Cottonwood Coffee and Bistro and then True North Retirement Team. Make sure you guys check out Cottonwood's website and get some auto draft shipment of coffee direct to your door, or check them out when you're there. Make sure you tell them we sent you. And if you don't mind, if any of you are taking time to listen to this on live stream on Facebook or whether you're tuning in on X or Twitter, whatever they're calling it these days, I appreciate it. Stack appreciates it. If you don't mind leaving us a review for your time, we greatly appreciate it. It'll help us in the Spotify rankings as well in terms of where it populates in your feed. So please, if you care to, give us an honest review. We can take all the good feedback, positive, negative, you want to give us. So greatly appreciate that. And on that note, go big, go blue,
go Jacks.
Go Jacks.
Shout out Jim.
That's right.